Yo, what is going on, guys? Jay here, and today I got a new review for you guys. Talking about Kenny Mason's new project, Six. Kenny Mason is a young rapper hailing from Atlanta. He's been bubbling for the last couple years, and he has been building some good stuff. 2020 was when he really started to gain some attention with his project, Angelic Hood Rat. It is still his best album, in my opinion, to this day. Love that project. It's what's put me onto him. The dark, trap metal aesthetics. He was doing some good shit there as well as some great singing, and it really showcased some potential for him in his career, although the last couple of years he really hasn't lived up to it or reached those highs, but has still been a super fun name to watch and makes a lot of super cool music. The level of versatility that Kenny brings to the table has made it hard for him to solidify a sound as his own versus just trying out a lot of different sounds like he is, and he does a lot of these sounds well, whether he's doing some deep Memphis trap, some 3 6 Mafia inspired shit like he does here, or it is the trap metal aesthetic, some auto-tune singing. He could rap super fast. I'm sure you've heard him on a couple tracks with JID before. You know what, if you've heard him, you know he brings a lot to the table. Even trying some more rage trap inspired sounds on his project Roughs last year, and again, it has made it hard for him to define himself. Like, who is Kenny Mason? What is his defining sound? We're still trying to find out here. Before I start jumping into the track list, it is important for me to preface the last 3 tracks on the project. 100 or None, Avatar, and Back Home all were released earlier this year in March on his 3 EP. So just putting that out there for you guys, because obviously this isn't a full studio album. This is a EP type, mixtape type thing from Kenny. And yeah, let's talk about it. So Six kicks off with the track Dark Side, which brings a booming and haunting instrumental to the track to kick off the album. The bass is there, and this track is really immersing you into dark aesthetics that Kenny laces throughout the project. Kenny's speedy flows, as well as the more subdued delivery he uses on this instrumental, are a good contrast to this heavy, dark, gritty instrumental. These two mesh in a perfect way that make Dark Side a great intro to the album and a super fun track, definitely one of the more memorable ones as well, and it really sets the tone for what Six is about. The following track, Rich, has some soulful backing vocals that are woven very pleasantly into the background of this elegant but gritty instrumental that Kenny has provided. It is important to note that Six is a very dark, grimy, and gritty album. A lot of 3 6 Mafia influence taken here clearly, and again, Kenny runs with it. He has fun with it, and it goes over pretty well when he does it. When Kenny does try to use his vocal range to the fullest extent on the chorus of the track, when he's hitting the "Mama, I'm rich now" refrain, it does get a little annoying because his voice, or his vocal range rather, isn't incredible. It's not the best. It's definitely there, but he was overextending his vocals here, and it does get a little grating, a little annoying at times, despite the catchiness of this refrain. I Got is another dark track with heavy bass. I would almost go as far to say it incorporates some horrorcore elements with how just haunting and eerie and almost like menacing these instrumentals are. This is again some 3 6 shit, some Project Pat shit. Here we see Kenny experimenting with a pitch down chorus in the style of A$AP Rocky. You guys could tell I love Rocky, my favorite rapper. However, I'm not the biggest fan of when he does this anyways, and when Kenny does it, it goes over fine. It's just not my favorite thing personally. But yeah, I mean, I Got is one of the more solid tracks on the project, like I said, although it does feel like a less grand Dark Side. Now, with I Got sharing a lot of similarities to Dark Side and sounding similar, it does bring me to a big issue I have with this project. One of the bigger issues being that its cohesive sound and soundscape are great, but Kenny doesn't really chop it up at all on the instrumentals for the most part. A lot of them are very similar, and again, they are good, but there's not much variety here, and Kenny's performances are a little uninspired. His fast flows are great, lyricism is solid, but he's not putting a lot of passion. This project does feel very devoid of Kenny's personality, to be honest, to try and match the dark and menacing aesthetics of this album, which I understand. I just think it would have been better if Kenny was putting his personality into it versus trying to almost pull himself out of it to match the dull but deadly vibe he's got going here. Now, the next track, Side to Side, we do see Kenny switching it up with a track that is a more of a sung guitar ballad. It's definitely different sonically from what he's been doing so far, but it is honestly sleepy and dull. And again, this is where Kenny's lack of personality is really taking away from the project, especially on a track where he's trying to be emotional and deep. The way his voice is slightly distorted as well really takes away from any passion seeming to be there. And he's singing about his regrets. And again, Kenny's a good songwriter. Kenny Mason is a pretty great songwriter, I'd say, actually. Again, he's talking about a lot of things he's done that he regrets in his life and regrets that he has about his life so far. But like, without his because Kenny Mason is traditionally a very animated rapper, I think, of at least on songs like Hit or songs like Serial, songs that really introduced me to him, songs that made me love him, are these more tracks where he's more animated. And I think he should tap into that bag more often. And here, it's not even just where he's not animated, he's far less interesting as an MC on any of his other projects like Angelic Hood Rat or the Deluxe. The outro to the project Back Home is similar to this again. Slowed down instrumental, some vulnerable songwriting, and yeah, Back Home does go over better than Side to Side, but Kenny is still pretty uncaptivating on this track, in my opinion. The one thing I did love about this track is the heavier guitars and drums, the more metal influence coming in, especially as you get to the climax of the song. I think it really just reminded me of the artist that I really fell in love with when I discovered him. And I do hope to see on his next big studio album, not necessarily a return to those same exact aesthetics, but a more, just a more creative Kenny Mason. Not that this is an uncreative project, but just, I really saw him as someone that could push the limit. And is it my fault for having too high of expectations? Yeah, partially for sure, but still, that's still personally what I want to see from him. He's still doing good stuff. It's not like his career's over or he's flopping. He's still making good music. I just am hoping to see that from him soon again. Alright, yeah, but to wrap it up, I do gotta say, I'll say this at the end of a lot of my reviews, honestly. You guys will see this. I did trash this album a good bit. I did have a lot to say, but that's just because I am a critical person. This is by no means a bad album. The only skip, trash fucking song is Side to Side. Everything else here is tolerable, is listenable, is above a 5 out of 10 song in my opinion. Despite the fact that most of these tracks are good, a lot of them aren't great because of this super serious and menacing and threatening, trying to be at least, Kenny Mason, and the effort he is putting into matching the aesthetics versus being himself, having fun on the track, and really letting his mind and pen run free. Again, I actually do think there was some toned down lyricism here for sure from Kenny. We know he could get super emotional and personal, and he has great fucking rhyme schemes. Again, did tone down the bar work to match the aesthetics a little bit. Makes sense when you're jumping into your trap bag. You know how it is, but I cannot keep that in mind. I cannot knock that against the album, especially when this dark ass, haunting ass trap, this southern type shit isn't as good as it could be. But yeah, 6 is a solid project. Stack It Up and Dark Side are the only 2 tracks that I really will be taking with me, I think. Despite that, the other 4 or 5 tracks, 5, because I did say Side to Side was a skip, but the other 5 tracks, not bad, like I said. Just not anything too crazy. For these reasons, I will be giving Kenny Mason's 6 project a 6.3 out of 10. Again, not a bad grade. That is a good album. Definitely a little bit indicative of the expectations and what I do think of Kenny Mason, but I am hopeful to see him back in his bag soon. I feel like it's been a minute since we got a real big project from him. I know, again, Angelic Hood Rat I bought up a lot. He had the Deluxe to that was Supercut, the Deluxe, which was another project, and he had 6 this year. He also had Roughs last year, and Roughs I wasn't crazy about that. I don't even know if that was a mixtape studio album type deal. I don't know what's up with that. But I'm looking forward to see what Kenny's cooking up next. I know I know he's got it in him. He is one of the best young talents around. But yeah, guys, that's all I have for you today. Definitely be sure to tap in, like, subscribe, notifications, all that. Tell your friends, maybe. No one does that enough anymore. Go tell your friends. Let me know what you think in the comments. Did I just tell you who Kenny Mason is, or are you in the know? Are you a OG Kenny Mason fan? Me personally, I actually found him from an ad on the Our Generation music page in 2020 when they posted his song Hit. That one of the only times I've ever found a rapper I loved off of an ad posted on Instagram. Anyways, take care, guys. I'll see you next time. Peace.